Live from central Pennsylvania, this is CBS 21 News This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Sherry Christian.
And I'm Al Ganoza. Here is what is happening in the news today. Dauphin County officials set to announce details on one of the county's biggest cases of elder abuse. Just how much money a local couple is accused of stealing from an 86-year-old woman.
Plus, 2 disaster loan outreach centers opening up in our region today. We're live with more on Governor Wolf's move to issue disaster declarations in Lancaster and York counties.
And a death investigation underway in Franklin County.
But first, let's get a check of weather and traffic with Steve Knight and Ashley Honey. Steve.
Well, we're all set up for a pretty pleasant Monday. It is a cold start here this morning. In fact, we do have frost advisories up in Lancaster and in York counties, Chester County, Berks County as well. Some of our outlying areas are seeing a little bit of patchy frost. But here's your good news. The winds have died down after that real blustery day yesterday. Winds right now coming in out of the west, but only at about 5 miles per hour. And just enough of a breeze to kind of drive these wind chills down a little bit. So certainly bundled up here first thing. Wind chills mid to low 30s in many spots, but pretty pleasant day today. I think we see a fair amount of sunshine. Look for the clouds to be on the increase late. Still a bit below average, but with the calmer winds, it'll just feel a little bit better today with highs in the mid 50s.
Good morning and a happy Monday to you. Checking in with York this morning, where it's just one of our cities that is doing very, very nicely. If you're heading out the door, no issues on our inner city roadways. Major roadways surrounding York this morning. Route 30 is moving nicely, heading all the way to Lancaster. 83 heading on up towards the York split, the Capitol Beltway, PA Turnpike, all moving smoothly. Let's look at your members first. Traffic alert.
Happening today, Dauphin County officials are expected to announce more details about how a Swadera Township couple was able to allegedly steal more than $100,000 from an elderly family member. Kathy Garman and her husband Chester Rob Garman, whose mugshot hasn't been released, allegedly stole $150,000 from an 86-year-old family member from 2013 to last year. Police say the Garmans used the victim's credit card, accessed his bank accounts, and used his bank cards without him knowing. Officials say this is the 4th largest sum of money involved in a financial exploitation case in the county since 2004.
Governor Tom Wolf has declared a disaster in both Lancaster and York counties. This comes nearly 2 months after severe flooding damaged homes and businesses. CBS 21's Joe Ducey is live outside the York County Department of Emergency Services, where one of 2 outreach centers is opening up in our region today. Hey, Joe.
Hey Al, good morning. The United States Small Business Administration will have representatives on hand all week at outreach centers like this one, helping folks navigate through the process of applying for these disaster relief loans. Homeowners, renters, and businesses impacted by storms and flooding in August in Lancaster and York counties, as well as some neighboring counties like Adams, Cumberland, Dauphin, and Lebanon, may be eligible for these low-interest loans. Homeowners may be able to borrow up to $200,000. Businesses and nonprofits may be able to borrow up to $2 million. The filing deadline to return applications for physical property damage is December 17th. The deadline to return economic injury disaster loan applications will be July 18th of next year. There's an outreach center here on Davies Drive in York and one in Lancaster County on Champ Drive in Manheim. They'll be open between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. The centers will close 6 p.m. next Monday, so you just have a week to stop by here and get assistance. If you want to download a loan application or find out more about the loans, we've got that information up on our website, cbs21.com. Reporting live in York County, Joe Ducey, CBS 21 News.
Thank you, Joe. New this morning, a death investigation is underway in Franklin County. State police say a 20-year-old Hagerstown, Maryland man was found in the area of Miller and Social Island Roads in Guilford Township Saturday afternoon. He has been identified as Wesley Burnett Jr. No word on how he died.
Police in Cumberland County are asking witnesses of a fatal crash to come forward. Police say around 3:30 yesterday morning, a car crashed into the 300 block of South Sporting Hill Road. The vehicle hit a business sign and a utility pole. 1 person died and 3 others were taken to the hospital. The president of Turkey is promising to release details of his country's investigation into the death of a Washington Post journalist.
Over the weekend, Saudi Arabia released its version of what happened to Jamal Khashoggi. They say he died during a fistfight with officials in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, October 2nd. The foreign minister says it was a rogue operation and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was never involved.
Individuals who did this outside the scope of their authority. There obviously was a tremendous mistake made, and what compounded the mistake was the attempt to try to cover up.
President Trump has refused to halt a $110 billion arms sale to Saudi Arabia, though is considering sanctions against those found responsible for Khashoggi's death.
And the search is on this morning for 3 people missing after a Mexican fishing vessel caught fire near San Diego. 15 others had to be rescued out of the water. You can see in this dramatic video we've got this morning by a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter. 2 of those people had to be airlifted to nearby hospitals and are in critical condition due to severe burns. The survivors were transferred over to the Mexican Navy, who is continuing to look for those 3 people still missing.
All right, Ashley, right now thousands of Central American migrants are heading toward the U.S. hoping for a better life. The group has crossed from Guatemala into Mexico, fleeing the violence and corruption in their homelands. But President Trump is threatening to seal the border with the military.
I think some bad people started that caravan. More importantly, or maybe almost as importantly, you have some very, very bad people in the caravan.
Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen says the U.S. is keeping a close eye on the caravan and will prosecute those who are trying to profit from irregular migration.
A former White House advisor will be in York today to discuss immigration. Angela Maria Kelly will present Immigration Today in York College's Weinstock Auditorium. Her talk is free and open to the public. It gets underway at 7 tonight. The fight against the pipeline continues for a group of nuns in Lancaster County. Today, the adorers of the blood of Christ will gather at the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. They're asking the court to review whether the government can force them to allow their private property to be used for the Atlantic Sunrise Pipeline. They say the pipeline is against their religious beliefs. Gas began flowing through the pipeline, which runs through Lebanon and Lancaster counties earlier this month.
Election Day, 2 weeks from tomorrow. And Senator Bob Casey and Lou Barletta finally faced off in their first and likely only debate before November 6th.
CBS 21's Courtney Highfield is live in the newsroom to break down what was discussed in Philly this weekend. Morning, Courtney.
Good morning, Sherry and Al. Casey and Barletta talked about a lot of things: healthcare, climate change, immigration, and the economy, again, among several other topics. When it comes to healthcare, Barletta called the Affordable Care Act a disaster and acknowledged his vote to repeal it. Casey, however, says the last thing the country needs to do right now is scale back on protections. As far as the economy, Barletta praised the president for his tax-cutting law and says the current economy is the best in history. Casey countered that, saying wages aren't growing at all. Also brought up was the killing of Saudi Arabian journalist Jamal Khashoggi and how they think the president should be handling his death.
Well, I think, first of all, we need to get to the bottom of it. The Saudis have now given a number of different stories as to what happened. 18 Saudis who went in, and they said it was a fist fight gone bad. So I think the most important thing is that we get to the bottom of it.
Presidential leadership has to be brought to bear. The president should be very clear. We don't condone ever the killing of a journalist, even in the jurisdiction of a country that we have a relationship with.
And towards the end of the debate, Barletta also brought up a recent controversy over an ad about pre-existing conditions. We'll have a lot more on that coming up at 6:30. Al?
All right, thanks, Courtney. Well, it's all fun and games until the floor gives way. Coming up, we'll show you more of this dramatic cell phone footage that was captured the moment a college homecoming party came to an abrupt stop.
Plus, some local technology experts are joining the fight against the opioid epidemic. How a new app will help connect users with treatment options.
Well, chilly start to the day. I'll let you know if we can keep some sunshine around and when these winds are going to die down with my first morning forecast.
You're watching CBS 21 News this morning.